What up?
All right, we're back.
Yeah, buddy.
No, not really.
Well, we are.
What up? All right, we're back.
Yeah, buddy.
No, not really. Fuck.
Yeah, it's echoing.
All right, we're back. That's because I don't have headphones on.
You all right?
No.
Grab a flashlight, guy.
Is this with your phone or the computer?
I have no computer.
Oh, fuck.
I have no computer.
That's right. You're doing yours from a complete tower, huh? You're not doing yours laptop.
No, we shouldn't still be live.
Yeah, we're live right now.
We're live.
We're live, buddy.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, because I'm watching it on my phone, too. Hey, if anybody can hear us, my phone, mark in the chat if you can hear us.
Yeah,
Live
that's
audio.
it. Live audio. Yeah.
Yeah. We're live, buddy.
Fuck it. Let's just shoot the shit, man.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Hold on.
We love
We're
all
home.
of you
We're home.
out there listening right now. Here's the thing.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, power went out on Blaise's block. The whole block went out, guys. So, just bear with us, all right? He's doing what he can.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
So who's all in the chat tonight? Let's say give some
Right,
shout outs.
People.
Crush and Kelly. I'm gonna go ladies first this time. Crush and Kelly, hello, dear. Walt,
Monstar.
like always. Walt, one of our number one fans. Caliber's in the house. PF Dub. Monstar, what's up? We can see you too, brother. We can see hear you too. Who else is in there? Anybody else? I wish someone.
I think Ray's dropping a deuce.
Well, if you notice, whenever he's dropping the bomb right now.
So what's up, guys? Everybody good?
Dancer Twitch.
I know
Let me
Blaise
see
is
here.
out there, and it's dark over there, but I can see Doc and CJ and a blank stare at Ray.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray's like, what's
McBride in the house.
his girlfriend?
McBride and the Ride.
Yeah, well, that's been my friend since Christ was corporal. That guy right there. So
Like the chair and Ray's
McBride.
thing.
The
Like-
Washington Commanders.
Oh wow.
Ain't that what they're called now?
Yes.
I mean,
You know what? They got a name.
Yeah, they're
They
Yeah.
got a
both
name. Fuck it. Let's go with it.
I still don't see anything wrong with the Washington Redskins.
I don't
but
think I don't either, but it is
Who
what
am I?
it is.
Wait, as long as they're better than the Falcons, who cares?
Ow.
Oh.
Ow. Ow. I'm
Am I
sorry.
the only one that wants Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl?
How about we root for the airplane?
That was a dick
What a
statement. Seriously.
I missed
Listen.
Hey,
something.
who wants to watch these two play?
I do. I want to see Matt Stafford, who has pretty much spent his whole damn career wasting away in Detroit, to finally, crawl out of the Sarlacc pit, which is
Why
the
do we
Detroit
give it?
Thunderdome
He
or
was
whatever.
in Detroit, making more money than everybody in the chat. Hey, Ray, me, you, the
Yeah.
dog. He was in Detroit making bank.
Yeah, go Bengals. That's right.
And
too.
he's in LA making bank.
If he was so upset, he would have been traded day one. Instead, he lasted 3 contracts. He was not upset. He was like, I mean, it's just like going to the Falcons. Ain't nobody want to play there either.
Oh,
What they do for a paycheck?
oh my God. If anything should have wrecked, it should have been in St. Louis. But anyways, making fun of my funeral when I got late. You're batting 1,000,
You didn't
asshole.
make fun.
Who made fun of the funeral?
You did.
No,
You're like,
I
why are you
didn't.
late? Why are you late? You didn't even know.
I had no clue.
I'm just
Oh,
fucking.
shit, look at that picture.
Huh?
He looks constipated in that picture. No, but I mean, he's like, oh, I got one brewing. No, but
So let's get.
I
some
wish
kind
they
of
would have changed it.
banter going here.
no, I'm okay. So since Eazy-E was privileged enough to go to the Royal Rumble, why don't you tell some stories about like what you witnessed down there, who you saw, stuff like that.
how it was live, brother.
So I actually lucked out. I was at the Hyatt Hotel, which is the WWE main headquarters hotel. I only paid $100 a night. I'm sure they paid a hell of a lot more. I got lucky, but we walked in and I was like, man, this is getting kind of interesting. And then the next thing I know, Titus O'Neil walks right past me.
Who does?
Titus,
Oh wow, okay.
yeah, monster, absolutely monster. And he was there with some guy that I really didn't pay attention to who he was. And he was talking to him. And then I see he's hanging out with Alicia Fox. So I knew something was going on.
It might have been Veer. He's coming to Raw.
Who's that?
Oh,
Oh, that's
no, Shane McMahon wrote him out.
wrong guy. Anyways, come to find out that the guy that he was with was Omar Khan. Or not Omar Khan. What's the Khan guy's name? Nick Khan.
Nick Khan, the
Nick Khan.
Antichrist.
Yeah. So they were hanging out and eating a couple of times that I went past. I got to see the Miz, got to see a couple of guys, and it was a good time. And then my boy and I went for Grubhub, and Shane McMahon walks past me and gets a picture with me. And as I said, think about this: Shane McMahon's top 5 all time in my book. As guys that I wanted to meet.
Oh, there he is.
It's the other
The spirit of Blaise's head. This sucks ass.
It is what it is, bro.
You get to see my head. I can't even play the slideshow or nothing. That's all on the laptop.
That's all right. Who cares?
If you
Let's
think
just
about
shoot
it,
the shit.
If you think about it, guys, send Veer, send Hook, and in Ray's case, send whatever he had for lunch.
Send Roto-Rooter.
Yeah,
Send an electrician.
Oh shit! I love that statement. Monstar said, "Oh my God, it's Large Marge."
Tell him Large Marge sent you.
That was one of the best scenes ever.
The bad thing is I don't even have a flashlight.
On a night like
so
this.
I'm using my other phone to shed light on my face.
Well, you got multiple phones. You got the hookup, bro. What kind of shit
Well,
you got, bro?
You always have to have a secondary phone. You have to have You have to have a burner phone.
You got that burner.
Yeah, I'm by Blaise by candlelight. I busted a couple candles out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I could still review the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got we'll just save the tag team stuff for another time.
Yeah. We got plenty we can still talk about.
So let's see. I think my candlelight's enough to get my notes here. Technical difficulties.
it
was fun
tonight.
It was funny because I know we're going to get into the AEW thing later, but someone made a comment on another stream that if Moxley and Bryan Danielson actually tag team, a cool name would be Technical Difficulties, because one's technical and one's difficult.
Yeah, you got a point there.
So
Drunken vegans. All right, I'm done.
I can't share nothing, can't do anything extra, but let me at least go over my first section was make some sense of it, and we're going to talk about what happened at the Rumble, and then it's going to be even more crazy when I do my little analogy with this point of view. But just to run down exactly what happened real quick, I'll talk about who the new champion is for our big picker thing, and then I'll get some comments from each of you guys on what you thought of the Rumble. So real quick to go over what happened at the Rumble, we had Seth defeat Roman by DQ. We had Ronda Rousey return to win the Royal Rumble for the women's, and a lot of more surprises in the women's than we did at the men. We had Molly, we had Sarah Logan, Ivory, who is 60 years old, very pretty amazing. Carmen, Kelly, and Melina, and there was a shot of Summer Rae when Summer Rae was running down the ring. She said "fuck you" to Natalya real loud, so it's clear as day.
What about who is the chick that tagged Cameron? You said that. You said
Cameron, yeah, her as well.
Yeah, okay.
So everyone that we had our picks that Becky would beat Doudrop. That happened. We had Bobby beat Lesnar. I was the one that called that. Actually, see, my prediction came true, but I didn't want it to become true. Edge and Beth defeat Miz and Maurice, and then Brock returned at number 30 to win the Rumble. So here's how our picker broke down. This is pretty interesting. CJ and EJ, everyone got Becky right, so that's one. CJ and EJ got Seth right, so they only had 2 right in total.
Man,
Ray-
I'm fucked.
Ray had Seth and Edge, so he had 3 total. I had Bobby and Brock. That was my only 2 with the Becky one, so I had 3 total. Ray had Edge and Ronda, so he had 3 total. So with the winner, Edge, Ronda, and Seth, we now have the first ever tag team champions of the picker, and it's Doc and Easy-E together.
I love it.
Wow.
So we got
If Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold can do it, anybody can.
Hey, it's Marty Jannetty's birthday today, by the way.
Wow.
Oh, fuck,
Who's
I
in the
ain't
back?
Jannetty.
You want somebody? Okay.
So a lot of people in the live chat know we did our watch along for the Rumble, and here's basically this is my
Go check
analogy.
your husband.
Lisa, sit down, talk.
This is how the Rumble made me feel. Okay, so watching the whole thing from start to finish, this is how it made me feel. So you go to, this is like a scary story with this lighting though. You go to a bar or a party or a club, right? And I'm a guy, I like women. That's no secret. So I see this girl.
That's debatable.
This is how it made me feel. So let me get through this feeling so you guys can can feel it too.
Sum up one thing with you. This is the
What?
Rumble to be.
You farted.
Silent one.
He was trying to fart. All right. So you see this girl at the bar. She's super hot. And you're like, man, out of my league. I'll never get with her. You know, there's no way. And the next thing you know, you go over to her and you say something and you end up talking to her. And, you know, one thing leads to another. Even though she's hot, you're going to think, well, at least she probably has a terrible personality or something. Or she's super cool at the same time. She's really digging you. And I'm thinking, this is too good to be true. You go back to the house with her. You have a couple drinks. You're having a great time throughout this whole endeavor. Next thing you know, she takes her clothes off and you smell the worst fucking smell you can smell. She turns into a complete bitch and it just ruins the whole night. So that's kind of the roller coaster ride that I took during the Royal Rumble for your boy Blaise.
Wow.
One of those scenarios.
I really thought it was. Well, you remind me of my first marriage.
Well,
So
I'll be able to get through mine quickly if that's okay.
No wonder we're a tag team.
I actually went over to a buddy of mine's, and another buddy of ours came over. I actually enjoyed more time shooting the shit and jacking each other with them than I did watching the Rumble. The women's Rumble to me was better than the men's, and the best match of the night was Seth and Roman.
Do you want to go?
Concur.
E, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Now, for those that don't know, Easy was actually at the event. He was in the car during the last show driving towards it. Took a group there and had a pretty good experience from what we said. So give us a little insight on how your little trip went, E.
So we were talking about the hotel experience before you got back on, but you know, you already know my stories, don't you, about running into Shane McMahon and Natalya and Dana Brooks, and I had a good time there. Even the Miz was out working out one night, and besides holding court, and he was in Cleveland Cavaliers, like complete like warm ups and stuff, and just having a good time with people, which was nice. Other than that, you know, Rumble itself was pretty amazing, pretty hot start because we were all guessing it was going to be Brock and Roman to start it out. You know, I don't check my phone. I do check my phone a lot, but I wasn't checking my phone once I got in there, so I didn't know lineup card, didn't know anything like that. Walked around. There was a couple of stores. The belt store was amazing. I don't know if you guys saw my face.
Saw the picture. Yeah, that was awesome.
You know, the Brock Undisputed title, $649.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I didn't buy it. Hell no. They had the Randy Orton Undisputed, and then they had a Divas belt there that was kind of cool. But they had Cardinal side plates. It's the first time I've seen that. They actually had a team.
Oh, St. Louis Cardinal. Okay.
Yeah.
But we didn't buy it. We did buy the Royal Rumble side plate because it had the old school logo. So it has St. Louis on it. So that's the thing to do now is go to these events and, you know, especially the Big Four and get the side plates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been to the Big Four, but I haven't been there.
What did those run, if you don't mind me asking?
What's that?
What did those run, by the way?
$100.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey!
Hey, he's done pooping.
You know, but
done.
walking
Be
around,
white.
I told Doc that I believe it was Doc that they only had chicken tenders and pretzels and hot dogs in the whole stadium. They had like
What?
stands open. That was it. They
No
were
Are we
nachos?
legit live?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live, buddy.
they
Thanks
had
for the text message. I was taking a poop. I thought we had
Yeah.
time.
hey, if anybody did not
You-
call that Ray was taking a poop, raise your hand.
So did I. I thought we had time too. And we were right. We guessed right. Poop was it. Poop was it.
Yeah,
We were right.
Everybody.
You
One side it wasn't the other.
I love his
Ray.
honesty. He's like, I was pooping, guys.
Ray, listen, you were blowing it up like Seth and Roman did the first match, which was they did. They had a great match.
Yeah.
And I thought him coming down through the crowd with the shield was
Yeah.
like
That
absolutely.
was cool.
Were you
Renee
close or near
Paquette
that?
blew it up. Did you see that? What's that?
Were you close or near like
I
the
wasn't.
16
I was close to the moon. I was
Oh.
closer to the moon than I was to the ring.
All right, Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, to the moon. Anyways, you know, but all in all, I thought that Seth and Roman were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great match. I thought that Brock and Bobby put on a great match. I went to the pooper when I saw Becky and Doudrop.
Good time to drop your due.
You know, 'cause that was
Ha!
pretty terrible. My
Take
biggest
that one.
complaint was the Ladies Rumble was the Ladies Rumble. You know, I got very excited when Ronda walked out because I love Ronda Rousey. I'm an MMA guy too. You guys know that.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know if we touched on this, but there is some backstage info on the Rumble. Apparently, the Rumble's head producer was Fit Finley, who isn't even with the company at the moment. Apparently, TJ Wilson is missing in action. So Tyson Kidd, who is the normal producer for all the women's segment, is also the reason that Lana refused to come and work the Rumble, and a few other girls, which I don't have any confirmations on anybody else, but apparently a few of them, when they found out Tyson or TJ, whatever you want to call him, was not going to be the producer of the Rumble, decided not to work it.
Huh.
yeah, the
Wow.
So that tells you what high regard they hold him in.
Interesting.
and he wasn't anywhere. Natalia was walking around by herself. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there at all. Apparently he's been missing for weeks. Apparently he has, at least from what I've heard, apparently he has voiced his displeasure with the current direction and the way things are being ran backstage, has decided to not show up for work, essentially.
There's someone who knows Eric in the chat.
So
Yeah.
Ravenscroft Industries in the chat.
Yeah.
What up, guys?
Eric has a fanboy.
I
Eric has a
seen-
family.
I seen
Gary,
something
I
online
will
today.
say that. Go ahead, Siege. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say that I seen something on Facebook a little bit ago that it's pretty bad when it's being that the people that are contracted to get anything done have to go on Facebook or social media to show their displeasure with the direction of the company. And it said that the locker room morale is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
Well, go figure. They're all afraid about getting fired. And then when you put on a shit show like the Royal Rumble was, you know, you had all the momentum going, and then you put Edge and Miz in a shit show match right before the men's Rumble. Like, I'm telling you, it was like
Yeah.
it was
Did
like
it get quiet in there?
Listen, like this, Edge and Miz come on, and it was like complete.
Leveled off nothing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, you
horrible,
can
right?
definitely tell the crowd was dead.
And then
Uh,
you go from that and you put two great guys in at number 1 and number 2, right?
And no Balor, no Cesaro.
Yeah.
Two that I missed.
So you got two great guys going at it at number 1 and number 2, and then you have Forrest Tyson Theory down there. And
Yeah.
then there wasn't
Austin.
another. You know, then there wasn't another surprise until you got to 30.
Look,
Well, the
I
two-
don't hate Austin
Never- wasn't
Theory's
even a
work. His
surprise.
work rate has been fine. The character work with McMahon, I mean, it is what it is at this point. But I thought Theory looked good in the Rumble, elevated himself. The match he had with
Put him at
AJ.
number 3, though, Ray.
I'm
you're-
not
gotta build.
saying
Yeah.
that. I'm not saying. I think it's a good point for a new star you're trying to push because he had
Mm-hmm.
AJ in there to work with. He had some guys in there to work with to kind of help him. The men's Rumble period I thought was dog shit.
Yep.
It was booked like shit. There was no surprises. The only
Well, apparently
surprise we had was
Shane booked it.
McIntyre.
So what's the fact that we're going around that Shane was the one that booked it? Is that, did anyone hear anything about that? They said he brought him in to book it.
I mean, you
They
read
said that
everywhere that they're saying.
The producers were supposed to be Noble. Who else did I see? Noble was the chief producer or head producer on it, I guess. And apparently him and Shane were into it all day. Apparently Shane kept changing Bad Bunny's spots. Shane booked himself to win a striking battle with Matt Riddle, former
Yeah.
UFC
Oh
fighter.
boy, it looked terrible.
Yeah, the men's Royal Rumble was a true shit show.
And Drew was just on a show, so it doesn't look like he was a surprise. I mean, he wasn't booked for the match, but he's not a surprise. So Bunny and Shane were our surprises.
McIntyre was out since November 18th, and they had video of him walking in through the Pittsburgh airport with a neck brace on.
Yeah.
So that's why they're saying he was a surprise, because they didn't fuck up his neck, I guess. But,
especially in a gimmick match like this with 30 people, it is so important to who produces the match and lays the spots out. For years, this was Pat Patterson's baby. He was the mastermind behind the Rumble. In the latter years of Pat Patterson, Triple H, even while he was active, apparently took a lead role in helping produce the Rumble. And since he's semi-retired from the ring, has been the guy that has been making sure everybody gets their shine in the Rumble and being kind of like that head producer. With Triple H being absent, I guess that role went to Shane and became a shit show.
Yeah.
So here's a question: where the fuck is Triple H? Especially now,
his health.
Haven't heard from him.
But he's been out almost 2 years now, so it's kind of crazy, where that goes. But you just flashed that, that they're saying that Riddle was supposed to win the Rumble. Then I read that they were going to give Orton the rub because it was his own hometown, which I thought was even better. But I brought this up. We've been talking about this Forbidden Door, right? Talking about the Forbidden Door being open, right?
It wasn't.
Oh, wait. Why didn't they swerve it? They had the biggest swerve sitting in their backstage. Now hear me out. Right? I know you're going to say no, but this is
Go ahead.
Yeah, right. This ring here would get me booked. I could book any match I want. You had Nick Brown, or not Nick Brown. You had, what's the hell's his name?
Travis Brown.
Travis Brownie in your back, right? He's Ronda Rousey's husband. So you put him in at 28 and say, oh, my God, the Forbidden Door is open. We allowed the UFC fighter come in, yada, yada, yada. And you could have dumped him immediately. But
that contract, though. I don't know if they have to just throw that together with someone's contracted somewhere else.
I think he's out of contract with UFC, if I remember correctly.
Well, that would have been that would have been a great surprise, Z. That would have been something that we didn't expect that we got.
I told you I'd be totally fine with
that would have been the coolest way to do this Rumble, and it would have given you one surprise, and it would have got us talking about it.
At least, instead of talking about Shane, who was let go yesterday. So I don't think that's very big news in my opinion. But they said he was booked for the Chamber and booked for WrestleMania, so they're just scrapping all the plans. Do you guys think it had anything to do with his control over the Rumble?
Yes,
absolutely,
110%.
I think the boys in the back threw a big enough fit that Vince had to listen. At some point where, they brought in Bad Bunny, who to me Bad Bunny's not anything. You know what I mean? Like that's not my. But worldwide, that dude is one of the biggest stars in the world. Not just in the U.S., not just in the pop scene.
Yeah.
This guy sells millions and millions of everything all over the world. He's the biggest Latin American star. He's huge everywhere. So having him as your special guest entrant and having him go say that WWE's ran like shit or anything like that, or Shane McMahon's fucking with him in the background, that's a way to put negative light on your company, especially if you're trying to sell to corporate. Or you're trying to draw all these guest hosts that they want to do or sponsorships. Way to fuck it up. So they have to do something.
If Bad Bunny loves wrestling like he says and learns some moves, why couldn't he do something like what Logan Paul did? Come in and take a stunner. He should have let them get over. He still had the spotlight. He still could come down and make his appearance. People would know his name. But he didn't have to throw people out and be the Final Four. That's my gripe. Let him be switch him and Austin Theory.
David Arquette was WCW champion. That's all I got to say.
50 years ago.
figures that you give the guy that's got the celebrity thing a little bit of rub, so you get it on TMZ or HBO or
You give him a spot. Give him one spot. He did his
Entertainment
Canadian
Tonight.
Destroyer.
Look,
Good for you.
The minute Orton went out of the match, you had to know what was happening. Everybody knew right then fucking Lesnar's coming in at 30, and this is going to be shit.
And cleaning the house. So,
And-
yeah, it was
and you
anticlimactic.
And you missed like the ultimate opportunity to have either Riddle turn on Orton or Orton turn on Riddle and lead to a great WrestleMania match.
They're saying it's happening at Chamber.
There was so much shit missed in the Rumble that could have at least gave us something coming out. But the Rumble was just an anticlimactic, literally placeholder. It was like, it was one of those things where it was like one of the Raws in between pay-per-views where you're like just getting from point A to point B. There was nothing built. There was nothing started. There was nothing done. We're still getting the same fucking Brock and Roman match. No new feuds came out of that.
Oh, that's what I looked for. But it was such a good show throughout. The whole show was good. I mean, I had no bad complaints. They were really good. Then you get to the bottom and boom.
Walter here says about Johnny Knoxville.
Sean, real quick. I have a power outage at my house. Anybody in the live chat? We're going to skip the tag team part and bring that back another time. We're going to cover the Rumble and Dynamite here as the best we can because I have control of the show. So if you guys, I'll bring the tag team segment back because there's a lot of talk about that. A lot of people want to talk about that. They just announced the Crockett Cup's coming back in the NWA, so I'm kind of hyped about that. The Briscoes have signed on. And they're opening signings for the Crockett Cup, which is pretty cool. They're like, put it out there for anybody to sign up for the Crockett Cup. And I think that's decent news if considering the tag team genre that we get nowadays. But
sign up, what we call bad and worse.
There you go. How about Team Smut? Team Smut can join it.
Dax Hardwood has come out and said he really wants to be part of the Crockett Cup. So, I mean, that would be a fucking cool throwback to the old days. Yeah. If you legit had the Briscoes and FTR being the final of that, and that be the place to do the first match.
I don't want to get tag teams because that's a big conversation that we'll just take off on. Let's talk about this. What do you guys think about the Kofi spot? Do you think it was a botch?
Bring it up. It was a botch. 100%. It was a botch.
And they had to go with it and show that he did touch. They could. Do you think they could have denied it and moved on?
I'm glad they didn't because it was blatantly obvious. The camera caught it right away, and it would have looked so fucking terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
They would have tried to play it off so that they could still do the planned spot. And you could tell there was that hesitation moment there, but the ref did the right thing from Jump Street and was like, no. Doc, no, everybody's delaying a little bit. That's why we keep talking over each other. But they had to do what they did. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. To me, the biggest travesty in the Rumble, though, like you're gonna run that risk. Kofi's done some crazy shit to stay in the Rumble, and somehow he's pulled it off. The law of averages is gonna bite you in the ass sooner or later.
Yeah, for sure.
But my biggest travesty was McMahon throwing Owens out. How are you gonna have KO, one of your biggest single stars, get fucking booted with no good spots? You know what I mean? Like by Shayna. Terrible.
Yeah. Okay. We got Doc back finally. So, out of the Rumble stuff,
happened. Sorry.
We did talk about Ray. You missed it
a little bit, bud.
We have I'm broadcasting from my phone here too, so it could have something to do with it.
Oh my God.
We do have a new big picker champion, and it's a tag team. Fittingly enough, it's Eazy-E and Doc together as our champion. So that's kind of funny to me. But we talked about most of the Rumble. Now a little bit about the Chamber before we go into it. I think we had Ronda's promo the other night where the piped-in crowd was so damn obvious, and it was way off the mark. But I'm kind of excited about Becky and Lita for the Chamber match. What do you guys think of those two finally having a match?
I think it's going to be good. However, Lita looked a step slow in the Rumble. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, she's older.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more rust. I mean, she's obviously hasn't worked, more than a spot here or there. So hopefully if she's going to have a single match, she really puts some time in the ring to get that rust off. But to me, her instincts weren't there in the Rumble. And that's going to really be amplified in a singles match because they're going to give them 15 minutes at least. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to see it at all.
No.
Yeah. Well, here's the reason why.
But what would you rather see? Do you want to see her and Liv again? Do you want to see her and I mean, there's nobody for her to verse right now.
You're right. But here's the other problem I have with it. If you put Lita in and you give Lita the rub, why? Aren't you better off going down and getting one of your NXT talents or somebody who hasn't?
Well, let's talk about that. We saw 0 NXT talents in either Rumble, so I really think they're separating that brand as the developmental and not going to bring them up unless they do the little I'm going down for a show and coming back up. Or otherwise, why not have NXT in the Rumbles? You know what I mean? So I think they're really separating the two. I don't have a problem with that. If you're going to build stars, build them there until they're ready.
You know, and the only good part about Becky fighting at Rumble was she fought somebody new in Doudrop. Now, is Doudrop ready?
No, God, no.
You know, but will she be? Yeah, I don't know.
Eventually, yeah.
Right now, Doudrop should be in a tag team. The character is not bad. She's real life friends with Nikki Ash. They actually started together. They had their first match together, in wrestling, period. So they need to drop the shitty superhero gimmick with Nikki Ash. Put those two in the tag team. That way, Doudrop needs time to develop. I don't dislike her. I don't dislike the character. But, Becky is good, but Becky is good on the level that she's as good as who she works. She's not Ric Flair. She's not going to make an enhancement talent look fantastic. But if she's like Cena in the case that if she has a good dance partner, they can do something.
Yeah, right.
Her and Liv and her and Bianca, those are great matches. Especially, I've been really impressed with her and Liv. I just don't want to see it again right now. We just saw it so many times. And they're obviously saving Bianca for something for Mania because if she doesn't go against Rousey, it's going to be Bianca, I think.
Is anybody else tired? Like, I'm tired of the Bianca and the hair shit.
She hasn't used it that much, though.
Yeah,
if she used it all the time, I mean, that's her gimmick is the hair in her lips. I get it, but if she used the hair all the time, I would be right there with you.
That part is she don't need the gimmick. She's a decent wrestler who has a ton of strength.
I agree. But you're looking at merchandising there.
Yeah.
It's
all
the shit
branding.
out of that hair to the little kids, man.
Yeah, it's branding. Yeah, I'm floating head Blaise tonight, so you get used to it, guys. I had a power outage. We're lucky we're even live. But, before we go on to AEW Dynamite and talk about that show, the Chamber, we got Bobby, Brock, Theory, Seth, Riddle, and AJ Styles. We're probably going to review it a little more as we get closer, but I think it's a pretty nice little group of people. What do you think, CJ?
I think that's a good combination. However, I don't know if Bobby keeps it, man. I don't know.
What about you, Easy? The Chamber.
Say those names again one more time.
It's Bobby, Brock, Theory, Seth Rollins, Riddle, and AJ Styles.
Okay, so who are we missing?
We're missing 2 people that should be in there.
Instead, we got Austin Theory. But who are we missing here?
Well, someone's got to be Brock. I don't think he wins unless they're going to unify the belts.
We're missing
Owens. Yeah, definitely. Welcome back.
Randy fucking Orton.
Good time. And Orton,
main eventers that are going to have nothing to do.
Well, do you think they could do 2 things that I wouldn't mind is if Riddle, if AJ Styles wins, I'd like to see him versus Edge. If Riddle wins, I'd like to see him versus Orton. So those are 2 matches they could set up with. I don't know, Doc, what do you think about the lineup of the Chamber and what we're heading into or the possibilities?
I mean, when I saw Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens, I thought for sure I was going to see one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Okay,
and no. I mean, does it give Kevin Owens any credit for like giving a young kid a rub? Yeah, but like, come on, man. No, not yet. It's not Theory's time for all this push. It's not.
I agree.
It upsets me. And hold on. Let me rant just for a couple seconds here. Sorry.
Go, Doc.
But what another thing that's pissing me off is this simple fact is, okay, thank you, Grinder Gang. You got guys on the bench that aren't even doing anything. They weren't even in the Rumble. Cesaro, and Finn Balor. Now, is there going to be another Elimination Chamber for the SmackDown side? That's another question, too.
I don't know.
Because the thing
I doubt it. They're not going to fly everybody to Saudi Arabia.
Well, yeah, but Saudi Prince is booking, so let's see who he's booking because he's the one that
Goldberg
winners. Yeah, thank you, Goldberg. That's what happened. That's what killed the Fiend.
Yeah,
Saudi.
It's
blood
going to be
money.
the elimination nursing home chamber. It'll be Taker, Goldberg,
Yeah.
But,
I mean, they're going to ship the chamber over there, so having more than one chamber wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Who knows?
you're asking this question about Cesaro. You're asking your question about Finn Balor. Okay. Once again, these guys are not your draws for your biggest night in wrestling. Yes.
But they're the Rumble, though, at least. They're not top 30.
It would be great, absolutely great for us wrestling fans to watch Cesaro wrestle.
Yeah.
It would be great for us to watch Finn Balor. Hell, you can put them two together, and us wrestling fans would know that they make one hell of a match. Right?
Yeah, true.
That does not bring you the cold, hard cash. I hate to tell you that. Because there's not – there might be one or two little 8-year-olds.
I see.
Yeah,
good point.
That mommy, daddy. But then there's 100 of them that go, oh, I want to see John Cena. Oh, I want to see Brock Lesnar. So guess who gets the top billing at that point?
But that's because it's been booked to shit. I mean,
It's not
Balor has proven he can get over. Before Balor got hurt, he was over like fucking Rover.
Yes,
the
he was.
main character is over like Rover, but
he's not a WrestleMania main event in Vince's mind.
In Vince's mind, yes, but in the 30,000 people in the Tokyo Dome, he was a main eventer.
Right.
That might be the reason KO's not there. Him and the Sami Zayn thing, he doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. That could be one reason.
That is true.
Okay.
However, I don't think Theory or Riddle, and I'm not knocking Riddle's work in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think Theory or Riddle should be in the Elimination Chamber.
Well, originally there was that rumor, too, that Riddle was set to win the Rumble, too, before all the changes.
I think that Riddle and Orton should have a tag match where they split and start building a Rumble feud between them, a Mania feud between them. That's the logical progression. That would be a great match. I want to see Riddle go heel. I want to see Riddle go a smart ass heel.
Yeah,
prick
heel.
It was fucking fantastic.
It's never gonna happen though. You know how Vince loves making him like the Bill and Ted.
Riddle this era is Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, to a point.
In a way, yeah, but still, like they're making him so like.
I like it. I personally like it.
All right, I do too. I'm a Riddle fan. I dig him. So
I love Riddle too, but I'm just saying I think they need to just
something different.
Okay. Wait, Doc, I got one. Is Riddle is he Riddle WWE where Orange Cassidy is AEW?
A little bit of comedy within both. I could see kind of a comparison. They both have the comedy aspect.
There's a huge difference there, I think.
Look, I don't.
If you're talking about wrestling style,
I don't dislike Orange Cassidy's work, but Orange Cassidy's never going to be a true main eventer, like putting asses in the seat. Riddle still has a shot at that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Riddle has the talent, working wise. The talent. The problem is right now is he's hampered by everything that hampers every WWE guy: shitty direction, shitty booking, shitty promos. Riddle's work on
he's in the best spot right now. He's literally
I realize that. I'm not saying that he's not. He's the best of the bunch, if you will. But if you watch his shit in Progress and Evolve prior, whenever he wasn't campered with the cartoon gimmick,
right?
Riddle not only is a legit badass, he can play a legit badass convincingly.
But
Riddle's
he did it
large
in NXT
enough to work
though.
Anybody. He did to an extent.
To an extent, yeah.
But I mean, you have a legit crossover star, UFC.
Well, he had one match in UFC and he lost.
He's still he's
fighter.
He's in the mold of the Rouseys, the Brocks that have fought in the other than just the squared circle.
Here's the thing. Can I just say this real quick? Just
go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
One comment about Riddle. Like I said, I love Riddle. I actually have a bro that runs the show T-shirt. The thing is, I just wish they just wouldn't make him so. I don't want to say kiddish because I know this is directed. So a lot of this is directed towards children now. The whole whenever he was circling the people with the scooter and he kept asking questions and da. And I was like, it was just. I felt like it was like ruining his credibility. I just felt shit.
Yeah. They're going to stretch out all the stereotypes as much as they can. So let's move on from the Rumble and WWE for now and go on to we're going to skip the tag team part of. We'll bring that back, guaranteed. That's a topic that a lot of people really want to talk about and discuss some of the greats. And what I did is averaged out 10 different rankings and have 23 and then a list of 24 that we can pick through to add into that list to have a top 25. But we'll get to that another time. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the AEW Dynamite show from last night. We have enough time to go pretty much segment through segment. So originally scheduled Moxley and Brian Kendrick, and Brian Kendrick is now probably one of the first people to be let go, sort of, in 2 different companies in 2 damn days. But the replacement was Wheeler Yuta, who came down with OC and Danhausen, I think they're just trying to introduce Danhausen to people by putting him on TV. Yeah, so they're going to show him on TV one way or another to get the people that don't know who he is to get used to who this wild character is. Mm-hmm. And Moxley and Yuta put on a pretty good match, but I think the big story is what happened afterwards with Danielson coming out. And then Danielson, when he said we should team up, I legit thought that's a great idea. Now, my opinion is no matter which way they go, there's so many open doors. And he even mentioned, he was like, why not pull Lee Moriarty? Why not pull Yuta? Why not pull a Daniel Garcia and let's train him? And I mean, Doc, what do you think about the possibility of those 2 teaming up in that opening match?
I actually liked it. I actually got goosebumps just thinking about just the different, the striker way of Bryan Danielson, and also just how Moxley's just off the chain, completely batshit crazy. I just think it would be good. Plus, you could have them argue numerous times, but still win the match. Like you could have like Danielson bring him back because how Moxley just goes nuts. Another thing too about those 2, it's just a simple fact is you could have a great run with them as a tag team, but then right after that, have a great run with both of them fighting each other.
Yep. Hell yeah.
You could sell out. I mean, could you imagine like the Lucha Brothers taking on Moxley and Danielson? I mean, that'd be a phenomenal match.
There's a lot of dream matches in their period with the people you want to see Danielson work, like the Young Bucks, like Malachi Black. Like, there's a lot of guys in tag teams right now that you would make some great matches for Danielson. By the way, before we go any further, I just want to point out Matt Riddle, 8-3 in the UFC, won the Ultimate Fighter, and won 4-0 before being fired for drugs. So he is a lot more than a one-fight wonder in UFC. So Mr. UFC doesn't know jack shit about UFC.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up this one comment, and then I'm going to tell you what I really thought. It's awful funny that you guys were all over the main event status of Moxley and Bryan Danielson, that they were main eventers, they were solo, they were going to go after the heavyweight championship. Oh my God! Now we're like, yeah, let's put them in a tag team. But we're just going to leave it there. No, we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there.
You can leave it there. That's your segment. Now, see,
because when the fuck did I say that? When the fuck did
I was going to
no one said it? But
please.
Let's all right.
Well documented that I don't think Moxley is a main eventer. Well documented.
Very well documented. I remember him saying it and me going, I kind of disagree, but I agree.
Let's CJ give his thoughts on the first match.
Go ahead, CJ.
I love Danielson and Moxley, but I don't think they need to be a tag team. I think they do exactly what Danielson said.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah.
I say they keep the fuck out of each other and make it actually decent. It was a good segment. Now turn. It was a good segment. Why do you not put them in a tag team?
Well, even if they build people, they can always go back to them feuding, like Doc even said. You can always go back to one turning over the other, and still, why not drag it out longer and milk it for as much as possible? Because it's obviously got a lot of people talking with those 2 back and forth.
Listen,
and involving young people.
Bryan Danielson is a fantastic professional wrestler, absolute main eventer. Bryan Danielson is also one of the most talented character workers in wrestling. He got himself over with Kane, the tag team with Kane. That's essentially what they're going to do, and it's probably what Bryan Danielson wants to do, is they're going to have an odd couple pairing with him and Danielson. But what they're doing it for, and one thing that Bryan Danielson has always been about, is bringing up new talent and wanting to help new talent. And that's what this is going to do. That's why they name-dropped Yuta and Garcia and Lee Moriarty, is through this stable and them infighting, which is going to be entertaining as shit. They're going to bring up some young guys that are real technical wrestlers, which we've only scratched the surface of Daniel Garcia, and Lee Moriarty is a motherfucking beast in waiting.
Yes, he is.
So we're going to get to see those guys given a little more spotlight than a dark match because they're going to be under Brian and stuff. And then eventually we're going to get that blood feud. 6 months down the road.
You took everything that they said is going to happen, and all those guys are going to form.
No, they're not. It's not going to be all those guys.
It's the what if that they left after that segment that's so intriguing. It makes you wonder where they're going to go with it. Will they get other people? Will they be a tag team? Will they go different? It leaves so many options for the future. That's what wrestling used to be. Give you something to talk about. What's going to happen? Where are they going to go with it? So where we're going to go with it is to the next segment because we could talk about that all day.
Late 80s NWA right
there.
Yeah,
so we'll wait and see what happens.
One more small quick point on this.
Go ahead, Ray.
AEW is a victim of their own success in a way. Their roster is fucking huge. Mm-hmm. They got a ton of great guys on their roster, but that's also a bad thing because they're having a trouble, even with a 2-hour Dynamite, a 1-hour Rampage, getting a true spotlight on a lot of the young guys that they need to do. So having a stable like this that can spotlight a few of the young guys, kind of how the Dark Order does, where you might only have one member of the Dark Order actually wrestling on the show, but you still get some camera time for the other 6 or 7 guys.
Right.
Having something like that's going to help get some of these guys off of Dark and at least start to introduce them to a national audience.
Yeah.
For the future.
Great point. Great points. And we'll see where that goes. And here's another thing where I saw on Twitter, there was a guy on Twitter who did an AEW Rumble. He did it with their Spotify theme songs, and Spotify has a random fixture. So what he did is he got 30 people's theme songs off of Spotify from AEW, and he just randomized it. And if you find this, I'm sure if you do AEW Rumble on Twitter, you'll find it. The way it came out made so many stories. And you look at the 30 names that were all very impactful names, and you guys can go through your head and think of the 30 names that were there. And it's just the idea of them to do a Rumble would be pretty amazing. But let's move on to the second segment. And I'll probably be the one who has the different point of view than everybody because it was Brandy Rhodes doing a promo, Dan Lambert coming out, which the name drop of Josh Alexander was great. Paige Van Zant coming out to maybe tease a match. People hate on Brandy Rhodes. I love her.
I don't mind her.
So what do you think, Doc, about the Brandy Rhodes segment last night?
Just watching the promo was kind of Lambert got vicious, man. That's all there is to it. And every time Lambert comes out, my son just lights up with smiles because he knows how funny it's going to be. And he just laughs and laughs and laughs. And then yesterday he was laughing and he just stopped and goes, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "What? Why would Brandy be face down? Does that mean he hit her? And he put her down?" And I'm like, "Well, one day I'll tell you about face down." And of course, I got the look from the wife, and I just kept eating my spaghetti and watching the event. However, I will say I liked it. I liked the Josh Alexander thing was cold, and it just proved that she can be a cold-hearted bitch when she wants to be. I liked it. Of course, the fans of Chicago are very vicious. They're great fans, but they're vicious, man. And they just totally unloaded their, I guess you want to say, hatred or just the fun of hating Cody. It's like more fun to hate Cody than it is to actually hate Cody, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
She gets kind of the same heat that he does, like trying to play like she's face, but getting a lot of hate.
I think it's different. I think
it's very similar.
Totally
really? All right, go ahead, Ray.
The heat being given to Cody is kind of like that, we love to hate you heat. It's the Cena, we want you to turn heat. Brandy gets hatred heat. Yeah, because Brandy fucking sucks.
No, but what I meant was the fact that she's trying to play a face, but she's hated. That's all I meant.
No, I think the opposite. I think she's trying to be a heel, and she's not believable because she's not a believable wrestler.
So we're heel for
5 dark matches in WWE, and you were a goddamn ring announcer, and now all of a sudden, Nickelback. I like that.
Yeah, that is good.
Just getting the Nickelback treatment.
Dan Lambert is the best promo in wrestling.
He is good on the mic.
Fucking be on television unless it's Roads to the Top. That's that.
So let's first point out what Dan Lambert really is in real life. Okay, he owns American Top Team. This man gave everybody. Think about this. This guy gave everybody at the University of Miami football team. Do you guys see this?
And I bet you he knew Matt Riddle's record.
$55,000 to every player on Miami, no matter if they were the quarterback or the kicker, because they were allowed to pay their players, and that was his advertisement. So I got to give it to him. He gave it to everybody, not just one person, right? So with that being said, Ray, you're 100% correct. That man can speak on the mic, and you would never have known that prior to him being on AEW. And
actually, he was on Impact for a while first and showed.
I didn't know that. I
didn't know that either. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Them introducing the UFC fighters from American Top Team. I think it's a great idea. Is it giving them some notoriety? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he paid for the advertisement for the University of Miami. They're paying him for advertising his company on AEW. There's a big difference.
Right. Yeah. So
here's my only problem though is I'm so invested to see Paige Van Zandt wrestle. I love Dan Lambert. However, anytime you're bringing somebody green and inexperienced in to do a spotlight match, you really need a great wrestler to work with them to help them along. And Brandy is not that worker.
No, maybe she just
be terrible.
Maybe she just destroys Brandy. Who knows?
I
think that would be that'd be the best way to write that.
I hope it's a 30-second squash match.
Just destroys her. Yeah,
knocks her out one time.
Is this where Cody comes to her aid, and then they bring out some monster UFC fighter like George Mattisau, and Mattisau beats the fuck out of Cody so the crowd. I mean, is that how this pays off?
We'll find out.
Cody needs to just stay the fuck away from her and be like, I don't know that bitch.
All right, you're not the only one, buddy.
So after that, we got Malachi and Brody, now known as the Knights of the Black Throne, against Penta and Pac, which I think I don't think it's taking over the name of the House of Black. I think it's just maybe the name of their tag team.
Yeah, the House of Black is the encompassing stable.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be more.
Yeah.
Pac is going to flip and join here shortly.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's just their tag team.
You think they're going to kill off Death Triangle? I mean, a lot of people like them.
I actually think they started to kill off Death Triangle. I think the first Pac promo that he cut on Malachi was kind of leaning towards him going with them. Yeah. But then Phoenix got hurt.
Yeah.
So now you couldn't have Phoenix and Penta feuding with the Knights of the Black Throne. So Pac has to stay because I think that was going to start the feud between that tag team and that was over Pac. Okay. And now we have to plug and play and put it on hold till Phoenix can come back.
Right.
All right. So,
by the way, I thought it was a great match.
Yeah, those are four great workers. I mean,
for sure.
I knew that'd be a good match, and I'd like to see more of those two groups going at it. Whatever mix you want to do, singles, trios, anything. It would be very interesting to see where that goes. I don't know if there's really a lot to talk about the Ruby versus Nyla Rose match. If anyone has anything they want to say about it,
her missing
that kick at the end
on the finish by a mile, but
but they ended it right after that. But then they talked to this. I thought this was funny. They talked about.
Does anybody think that Nyla called an audible?
Because it did end like right after that. It did end right after that. So,
to me, it looked like when she missed that kick, Nyla didn't hesitate, hit the swanton and pinned her.
Yeah, go right to the finish.
I kind of thought like maybe Nyla called an audible in the ring there, and that wasn't supposed to happen.
I think Nyla was supposed to go over, but maybe not in that fashion. I agree with the audible take, but I think she was supposed to go over, I think.
Big shout out to That Wrestling Podcast. Jason and the crew doing great work over there. I had a power outage as soon as we started the stream, so I'm making do with candlelight, and I just joined the House of Black.
Great hosting the bang bus afterwards.
My bouncing head. So, all right. I thought was really funny as they led into the Hangman promo coming up after the commercials that JR said it's time for some cowboy shiznit. And then we had the Ass Boys and Jungle Boys.
Ass Boys, yes.
Outside with the snow, and of course Luchasaurus, he lost his whole family to the winter age back in the day, so he didn't want to be out in the snow. The funniest part I thought was just the comedic part of them running around after they did it, giggling as they ran away, and you could tell Billy Gunn was really treading lightly. He didn't want to fall on his ass, so to speak, as he ran away. It was a good funny segment, Ray.
I just want to let you know that Colton and Austin Gunn have filed trademarks for the name Ass Boys, which Danhausen is giving them, and now there are Ass Boys T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees.
The little skits with Danhausen and them are hilarious.
Yeah, it's fucking great, and if you haven't seen it, you should. But I want to kick back to Hangman for 1 second. We glanced past that.
No, I didn't get to that yet. That was the promo that came up next that led to the Lance Archer, and apparently we're getting a Texas death match with them next week in Atlantic City. Go ahead, Ray. We know you don't like AEW, Easy E. You don't have to thumbs down everything. We know you don't like it. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
I feel like we're seeing.
We know you don't like it.
There's a lot of stuff I did like, but come on, that Nyla Rose match was fucking awful. Why can't you just say
We did all say that. We all agreed with that.
That's why we didn't talk about it, E.
You're the ass boy.
All right, go ahead, Ray.
I want to say I'm a little disappointed. I really like a lot of the stuff that AEW does as far as booking and storytelling goes, but I feel like the most important title in your company is a secondary thought right now. Mm-hmm. Ever since the Bryan Danielson feud, I kind of feel like this is like a tread water feud, which is fine. I mean, not every feud is gonna be, the biggest thing. I mean, Hangman has to get some feuds under his belt to build his reign. But
he's the champ.
I don't like Lambert in this aspect because he doesn't need it. He has Jake as his mouthpiece.
Yeah, I didn't understand why Lambert came out again.
And I kind of feel like they're just doing Hangman dirty by the fact that he's only worked. He's hardly on the shows, and when he is on the shows, he gets a 5-minute promo. Now, last night's was decent. Last night's little brawl, them mixing it up was cool. I don't have an issue with it. It's just that should have happened 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he said 81 days he's been champ, and I'm not saying he has to defend a belt every week. Yeah, he could do a tag match. He could do a trios match with some people. Where is the Dark Order? Where is the Dark Order? We haven't seen them.
With it, and that's what I'm getting at. When Kenny Omega was champion, they had Omega. He might have every other week or something like that, but he would wrestle in Allen Angels. He would wrestle, somebody else on the come up just to be on TV and wrestle. We don't see Hangman. We see Hangman for a 5-minute feud or a 45-second pre-tape, and that's been it. And how can you build your world champion like that? It bothers me. It really bothers me.
The better question is, what is their champion?
Don't put that comment up. Get rid of that comment, please.
I deleted it.
Thank you.
You know what?
Seriously, the fuck up.
Why do we the heavyweight championship in AEW means absolutely nothing. Because you haven't defended on it. You haven't done anything with it. And right now people are talking about Daniel Bryan and Jon Moxley. We're going to talk about the biggest thing in pro wrestling this week, which was MJF and CM Punk.
Yeah. Before we get to the main event, there was a Jericho promo saying that they're going to have an inner circle intervention, so to speak, next week, which I'd like some answers, see what's going to happen. I dig the intrigue on that. Should be pretty cool. But the main event was
that came on after your heavyweight champion was on, right?
Yeah, the champ can cut a promo anytime he wants. He's the champ.
They're making that more important than the AEW heavyweight champion.
The champ can cut a promo anytime he wants. He's the champ.
There was no match for the championship. It was just a promo.
In my opinion right now, I agree in a way with what he's saying. The world championship has been overshadowed. The way to bring that into it, though, is there should have been stakes on Punk and MJF. Punk brought it up in a promo a month ago saying, that you're a roadblock on one of our ways to be, versing Hangman for the title. But there was never been a stipulation lined out. It should have been that, Punk and MJF are finally fighting and the winner will be the number one contender. Unless that's what they're going to do as a comeback match, that's how they get a rematch. But Hangman should have been involved in that storyline in a secondary manner to keep it relevant.
Good point.
That's just smart booking. And then that also gives one of them something to do coming out and a true challenge for Hangman. And so, like I said, it just kind of feels secondary to me. And
great. Yeah. You said what about Dark Order? You don't have them involved in any of the storyline either.
I'm not happy about that. They should be somewhere. We haven't seen many of them wrestle very much recently. We haven't heard about the Dark Order group. I don't know. There's something planned. I don't know. I mean, so I'm not happy about that.
Lance Archer's whole shtick is coming out and like fucking annihilating people in the crowd or the timekeeper's table. There is no reason that they shouldn't do like snap to a backstage segment of Alan Angels getting fucking darted across the room by Archer. Or like Evil Uno getting kicked in the face by Archer. Like there's no stakes being done to this feud. It just feels flat.
So this is a filler feud. Do you think this is just something
but again, it could be done better, man. It's just that's your title.
I get it. But do you think maybe they're trying to like, they're trying to transition into something bigger, and they're like, okay, you know what, Lance is back. We had plans for him. He fucked up at Moonsault, got hurt. Maybe this is just his old bounce back. Boom, he's a monster. Hangman overcomes another challenge. What's next? And then boom, you're kind of going up this ladder. You're going up this mountain of just different tough competitors left and right. And then you think, wow, through the Murder Hawk. Who's next? And then boom, you surprise them with whoever it is.
I 100% agree with you, Doc. However, that is a 3-week story arc. We're on a month and a half at this point.
What with Archer and Hangman? Are you sure about that? I see 3 weeks.
He was not ranked in the top 5. He comes out and just attacks the champion. The champ offers him a match, but now that match has been 3 weeks in the making, and we got another week till it happens. So they're making a 6-week storyline out of what should have been a quick victory for Hangman, a quick thing over a valid competitor. I'm not taking anything away from Archer. I love Archer's character. It's just he just came back to TV. He's not ranked. He hasn't looked strong because he's been gone. But now we're building this into this 6-week-long feud where it's going to culminate in a Texas death match. A Texas death match should be a blow-off for a feud, not their first fucking match together. Yeah. Ask Dusty Rhodes about that shit and he'll roll over. It is great, baby.
Oh, wait. So let me ask
in his bunkhouse.
Let me ask this.
Goody.
So, was this true wrestling champion? Is it just a rub to give your buddies who was on the Elite to get pass a belt around because you're now the owners of the company to move him on? Because I don't like Hangman's work. I never have.
Okay. I like it. I think he's phenomenal.
I think so. Very good.
Is this, like I said, is this the rub because he went with you and didn't sign with WWE and you're the owner of the company, rub his shoulders a little bit,
oh my God,
pass it on to somebody else?
I feel like if that was the case, that would have been done a long time ago. They built a legit 2-year story with Hangman to get him back to the title picture. Now, I don't care who it is. 9 times out of 10, when you are a first-time world champion and you're not already an established main eventer, your first title kind of look at Big E's title reign from WWE just now. Those title reigns are kind of limbo. They're, you know what I mean? So you're going to have that from Hangman. It's just, I just feel like the way it was done, maybe they didn't want the Dark Order involved because Bryan Danielson just beat the shit out of all of them, and the feud right before that. But it just, I agree with Doc.
Are coming out too.
I agree with Doc that Hangman needs to start stacking these matches, these title matches against credible competitors, but not everyone needs to be a 2-month-long feud. We can just have Hangman accepting a title match from somebody because they challenged him and he's a fighting champion and it's cowboy shit. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Nightcrawler. Good to see you, Ron. Great to stop in. And I mean, all good points. And let me just address you for a second, E. And I'm normally the positive guy around here and just want to talk about the things I like that I do. But I'm really trying, and I even did with the Rumble. I really enjoyed the Rumble up into the last one. And there's a lot of things about AEW that I love, but there's a lot of things I don't. And I'm pointing them out. And you have a lot of good points as well. And let's talk about the main event. And I might be the one on the other side of the coin with this one too. I think it was a great match. Me and CJ got to shoot shit about it a little bit. But once again, good old Remsburg dropped the ball to me as far as refereeing this match. In my opinion, I'll let you guys get your time. Just let me get this out. I think the false finish was not needed. I know it's because now MJF can say he beat him twice, but just because he had that in his hand didn't mean he used it. I mean, it didn't make sense to me when the actually raising of the hands and there's the thing that dropped. And if he's choked out and then wake right back up. So there was a lot of things about the match that I've waited a really long time for that I did not like. Although the fighting was really good, I don't think it needed the restart. It didn't make a lot of sense. And then the Wardlow giving the ring to MJF to get it does give MJF. I was hoping that it wasn't going to lead to Punk winning again because he lost the first time. Now MJF can say, I beat you twice. Now there's still the question of Wardlow because he stood behind him with that weird look on his face. So there, as much as it was a good fight, I was disappointed on how they booked it in pieces. So let's go to Doc first on what you thought of this main event with MJF and Punk.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like the outcome. It keeps it going a little bit more, keeps it a little bit more fresh because everybody in that arena hushed up as soon as that 3 count hit. But I mean, both times whenever he passed out and then the 3 count. And another thing too I really liked is the simple fact that it caused so much heat with MJF, even more than it was in Chicago. The fact that I have my 7-year-old literally look me in the face and go, "Dad, I want to punch something," and shake and just run to his room in such animosity and anger. And he's like, "Why would he do that? Not Chicago, anywhere but Chicago, Dad." And I went, "Son, welcome to wrestling."
Yeah, easy
hooked.
Yes, definitely. The heat was. I was hoping to get his first loss in Chicago to get more heat. Now, Easy E, did you get to watch that fight? What did you think about it? I'm ready for your take on it, bro.
He's probably watching NXT.
I'm not gonna watch what I'll call the match of the year so far. I thought it was that good. I thought that CM Punk before this has looked really bad.
Could be one of his best matches.
Or is it? And I'm going to say it, and you're all going to say it. Or is it?
It's okay.
Guys that can't wrestle, and he finally got to a guy that can actually go with him in his style. They always say that styles make matches, right?
Yeah.
I also thought that doing what they did in Chicago is a big step and a pat on the back to say, "Hey, MJF, maybe AEW does need to keep you. That you don't want to talk about Vince's money anymore." Maybe that's the side of the equation because there has been a lot of MJF talk about WWE, and I think that is a great thing. And lastly, I think that this hurt the Wardlow MJF feud. This could have been a time that he could have turned on him and they let Punk win. So that could have been the side of the equation. Does it make Wardlow look strong? Makes him look like he's got MJF's back to the championship in my book.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll let CJ go next and we'll get Ray's point for this match. But I think they did kind of cover that a while back where it's kind of like Wardlow has to do whatever MJF says at this point until they tell us something different. He's handcuffed right now. So how he breaks those handcuffs, we still have to wait, which I kind of agree. I don't know if the timing was not right for that because it's supposed to be MJF's big moment. But before we get to Ray, good. CJ, what'd you think about this main event and all together?
I think, like you said, me and you had touched on this a little bit before we went live. I think that's the best that Punk has looked since he's come back. And as far as the 2 finishes, I was completely fine with it. I get your points about Remsburg, and I actually I got to agree with you. I mean, just because it fell out of his hand doesn't mean he used it. I get, and you're looking at it in a more realistic way, which I think there's been a lack of that in wrestling in its entirety. And the whole Wardlow thing, I think you're going to see the turn finally happen at Revolution somehow, some way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole restart is an old school way of doing it, so I'm not complaining against. I just think the execution was a little off.
I could get with you with that. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go through a match where you're going to do what he did before with the Danielson and Hangman match and not really go out and count people out and let them fight throughout all these weird things, which I'm totally cool with.
And JR covered that up pretty well last night with the biting stuff.
The last time that happened, we talked about it, and JR wasn't there to cover it, and it did look worse. This time, JR did, kind of give some explanations, and it made more sense. Agreed. All right, Ray, your take, Ray, on this main.
Hold on,
go ahead.
Just something I gotta say.
Get it out, Doc.
You guys to look at this for a simple fact, and CJ was talking about this earlier about work. And what I'm trying to say is, if you remember when Wardlow first started with MJF, it was fun to help MJF. It was great to help MJF. It was not work to help MJF. If you look at the way he helped CM Punk, the look, the annoyance, oh my Christ, why the fuck do I keep doing this look and attitude when he literally just like, if you watch when he hands MJF the ring, he literally just like, here, take the motherfucker, and just hands it to him. What I'm saying to you is, it is showing that decline. Yes, people wanted it to happen. They wanted to see that screw job. They wanted to see, I don't know if anybody remembers when Farouk went up to help The Rock and then just went like this and let him get tapped out by Shamrock back in the day. That kind of like, fuck you, but that wasn't there. The simple fact that he is now having to work, not have fun, not be the Wardlow he loves to be. The fact that he has to help this douchebag with everything, it's starting to come out.
Yeah, so the execution at the end, I think, was a lot better than the first false finish, because until the announcers talked about the passing of the ring, I mean, where did he get it from? But then, they didn't show it blatantly on the camera at first, but then at the end, it's like, oh my God, he gave him the ring, so it was, the end, I think, was executed good. MJF needed that win to give Punk his first loss. So, Ray, your take on the main event, the match we've been waiting for, MJF and Punk.
So as you guys know, these are two of my top workers, period. I absolutely love MJF. I absolutely love Punk. I always have. The choke out finish was not only not needed, it was nonsensical. It fucking took away from the pacing of the match. It was dumb in all aspects. That's just overbooking and them trying to want to do like some old school 80s, 90s NWA shit that just unfortunately didn't come across the way I think they even hoped.
You mean like the chicken shit heel kind of thing?
Yeah. Now, I love that Romsberg let them run. I love that JR touched on that, even when they were fighting through the crowd and Romsberg was with them and not counting.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a main event match. This is a blood feud. Let's let it go. That was great. I agree with Doc with Wardlow. If you didn't flip Wardlow in Cleveland last week, which is his hometown, he was over like Rover, then it isn't time to do it yet. I kind of feel that we're going to have a rematch of MJF and CM Punk at Revolution. I feel like CM Punk is going to lock in the Anaconda Vice, and I feel like you just alluded to it, Doc, and took my point because great minds think alike, but I kind of feel like Wardlow's going to give him the bird or the wave and walk away. JF taps out. Kudos, however, to both men. The match was fucking great. I love the fact that they're not working the shit out of MJF, that he only wrestles 6 times a year. It makes it feel special when he works. And honestly, it hides him. He is a great worker. He is constantly getting better. However, if he was working on TV every single week, you would see the holes in his game that are just hidden by the fact that he's only working here and there. And it's letting his character work shine through, which we all know he's the absolute tip-top with.
Yeah.
Punk looked great last night. Punk looked like the Punk of old. He had someone good to work with. He didn't have face paint in his eyes. And you can tell that the ring rust is coming off of Punk now, and we're starting to see the old Punk. All in all, I'm happy with it. I'm also happy that Punk did the right thing. He realizes MJF is the future. Not only am I going to give him a rub, I'm going to give him the rub in fucking shit, where we know we're going to get the best reaction. We know everything's going to happen. And that just shows, that also to me shows the change in Punk's head from the old Punk to the new Punk of like, I care now. It's not just me. We're seeing the Punk from Ring of Honor. We're seeing the Punk from, where he's putting the business on the same level as his own needs and not himself first. So all in all, like I said, it was great. I hope they do the rematch at Revolution. I hope that's where the Wardlow turn happens. I hope that they put world title implications in that. I want to see more. Like, you would think that even though they've been talking so much, after last night's match, I'm all in for another one. I don't want to see it next week. I still want to see some build, but I want to see it again for sure.
The part is, I don't want. We want Hangman in the ring. We don't want CM Punk and MJF in the ring.
Put them on the mic some more for a while. I'm not going to complain about that. The one thing we didn't mention, and it's been what they said, like 17 years since he hit the Pepsi plunge. It wasn't executed perfectly. I mean, MJF's leg was a little bent, but they were teasing calling it a pedigree, but they couldn't say Pepsi obviously on because of the sponsorship and stuff. But for him to pull something like that off, like you guys said, definitely more of the Punk of old. Seems like he's shaking off that ring rust. Great show. I mean, I'll even give credit for the Rumble for being a great show, even though the main match wasn't, what we expected, or, it's what I predicted, but I didn't want my prediction to come true. Like I said, I said Bobby wins and then Brock comes in to win at 30. Hey, my power's back on. Now everything's booting back up.
Let there be light.
It waits till the end of the damn show, right?
Right.
So it's up to you guys if you want to do the tag team thing now or table it.
Table it.
I think we've talked about a lot of stuff. One thing I'd like to get everybody's kind of take on is just the overall feeling in wrestling right now. And what I mean by that is normally January is like the time of year we fucking wait for wrestling. Football's just ending, and like
it ended really in November for Doc.
Hell, that's true.
Fuck
but football's just ending, so like it's all now into WrestleMania. We look so much forward to the Royal Rumble being the kickoff of WrestleMania season, and not just for WWE, because that everybody counter programs. So Impact is going to put their best shit forward. Wrestle Kingdom happens for NPJ, NJPW. AEW is obviously going to counter program Mania and try to put some big shit out. But it just feels to me like right now, there was the excitement about GCW, the excitement about this match, but I don't know, man. It just feels like the entire kind of overarching morale of the business right now is just lacking. Like, there's no excitement. Like, there's nothing on Mania even proposed right now that I'm like, oh, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Well, here's my question, and it's very simple. When I went to Mania last year, I actually fell into the JCW death match, and it was Nick Gage and some guy. I have no clue who the hell it was, but it was cool as shit. But that's when Mox came out and challenged him to the ultimate death match at WrestleMania this year. And I'm Googling every day. I'm trying to figure it out. Does that match happen at JCW Spring Break this year? And if it does, that makes me want to go to Dallas even more. But there's no pop. There's no nothing. And is it because Moxley went to rehab and he won't do it now?
I don't think that's the case. I would imagine that, closer to, we'll hear something about that. But my main thing that I was getting at is like, okay, so we're going to see Brock versus Roman Reigns for what, time number 17? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we have no idea.
I thought that trilogy was going to happen back when they had their first match and they were talking about a second and then ending up having a third at Mania. So I see them bringing it back together, but I'm with you guys. We're seeing a lot of the same things repeatedly.
There's no big competitor for Bobby. We're going to see Ronda versus either Becky or Charlotte, which he's already versed them fucking both. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like no.
I'd like to see I'd like to see AJ Styles and Edge. Talked about that, and I'd like to see Riddle versus Orton finally. So those are two that I'm hoping that might end up because of the chamber, and we'll see. But I'm going to hold off on the tag team thing. Next week we'll come back over the top 25. We'll pick 2 extra because I only got 23 from the list. I do want to talk about the Crockett Cup. I have my program from 1988. And I have tons of notes about tag teams. I know a lot of people wanted to talk about that tonight. We're at the hour and a half mark. I think it's a good time. Plus, my router's still booting up, so I couldn't jump on and do it now anyway. But all in all, I'm glad we salvaged the show, even though perfect timing for my fucking power to go out as soon as the intro was starting. Wild-Eyed Yeti, good to see you on here. Glad to see it. He's been joking about this on like 5 streams today. He said first he took care of Shane. Now he's going to get rid of Stephanie. I love you, Yeti. You're a card.
Already trying to fire Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H. Take out the whole family on his way. So if he's going to go, he's taking a family with him. But we're going to wrap this up. I am glad you guys talked me into staying on and holding the ground till I could at least get my phone up and running. But CJ, we didn't talk about your shoulder. We talked off the air, but give us your update.
I'd like to keep that off of the air for the things we talked about right now.
Mm-hmm. But, all we know for now is you're getting better, and it's going to take a little longer.
He's progressing.
Yeah, he's getting better every week, and
It's
we're glad
going
to
in the
hear
right
that.
direction, and that's all I could care about. So I'm happy about that. Today has been one of those days where I'm ready to tap out for the day.
Well, I'm glad you could bring your game into the show here tonight for a little fun.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Easy E, if you guys didn't know, was at the Royal Rumble. He sent us a picture of him with Shane. So I blame you for Shane booking the match and ruining the match for us, because you must have said something to him. But Easy E, any last things on your experience at the Royal Rumble out there in St. Louis?
Yeah, I had $3 cash in my pocket. I offered that to Shane because Grubhub cost me $54. But the $3 I offered Shane for number 30, and he didn't take it. I don't understand that. But anyways, all in all, good times. It's always a great time to hang out with you. And no, I'm not pizza delivering tonight. So
there's my Wi-Fi.
Easy is 100% proof that bad ideas can be transferred through a handshake
or hand job.
Or hand job.
Hey now. Any last words from you?
You kicked yourself out.
Yeah.
That's my Wi-Fi kicking back on.
Oh, okay.
Doc last click.
Last thoughts there, Ray.
No, I said my last thoughts. Quit giving hand jobs to Shano.
Last thoughts.
Doc, we haven't really talked about Indy. Anything going on in any of the companies you're dealing with or anything recently?
Next weekend, there's 2 great shows. Rise Wrestling will be doing a good show, and also 2PW, which I will be commentating for them. Anytime
Sweet.
I'm behind the table, that's where I go. I don't sit the bench for anybody.
Nice.
And, so.
Your wife begs to differ.
We got Revenge Pro this weekend in Erie. If anybody's in that neck of the woods, it's going to be a hell of a show. Obviously, I'm still not cleared to referee, but I will be there backstage to support however I am needed.
It's going to be an awesome show. I forgot about that. I forgot about Revenge. It's this weekend.
It's going to be good, man. The pre-sale is the biggest we've had. So, look at that.
Oh, my God, there's 2 of them.
So let me ask you this. You guys were talking about WrestleMania real quick. Do we see a title with Brock and Roman? And if they do that, do we see another triple threat with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda?
A lot. I mean, I can't wait. I mean, we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. I mean, we have a new tag team champions here in the Pick'em. The most can they coexist? We have our own version here with Easy E.
The
and
mega
Doc.
flowers explode.
They picked Edge to win, Roman to win, and Seth to win. Ray had Ronda. And I picked the Bobby and Brock thing. That's the only thing I got right. Everybody got Becky Lynch right. So we'll be back and revisit some more of that stuff. Everybody in the live chat, thank you for hanging on with all the technical difficulties we had tonight. We will return. Stick around, you guys, so we can chat for a second before we go. And now I can finally roll the end credits. How about it? Peace, everybody. Thanks for being a part of the WrestleSense tag teams. Next Thursday, we will be breaking down the greatest tag teams in wrestling history. And yes, I will be live with LTD tag team action tonight, world title and the Double Dutchess tag team
Team
tournament.
Smut.
Stay tuned, y'all.
Wet dreams.
We out of here.